Hi everyone, welcome back to Watson Sour. So today we are very happy to have Fabio in Hong Kong. He's from Comm.G.B.Burlotto. He's a very famous winemaker from Barolo area, and he carries 170 years winemaking legacy from his family, making exceptional quality of Nebbiolo and of course Barolo. And today we are going to discover one of his most famous vineyards, one of the most famous cru, and also two of the hidden gem from the family vineyards. Ciao Fabio, welcome back in Hong Kong.
Ciao Graham, and ciao to all the friends of the Watson Wine YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe the Watson Wine YouTube channel. Let's start.
So Monvigliero is one of the most famous cru in Barolo area, and they produce very elegant wines with exotic aromatics in the wines. So Fabio, can you tell us more about Monvigliero? Why is it unique and why is it so famous?
But it's difficult to explain nature sometimes, but it is famous for this character of elegance, complexity, aromatic complexity, finesse that give the wine. And it is one of the, let me say, one of the Grand Cru of Barolo. Special condition of the weather and also the soil. We have this kind of, in Monvigliero usually we have this kind of wine, so refined, so delicate, but with the depth and with the land of the Grand Cru.
I've been following Monvigliero, this wine, for some years, so I always find that in Monvigliero we got a very unique aromatic characteristic that I cannot find in other Barolo crus.
So the wine in Monvigliero, they were historically very well known for these aromatics, and the vinification, despite the vinification, this is even with different vinification, the wine made in Monvigliero have a different aromatics. They have this kind of tannin that is more gentle, So this is the character of the vineyard, of course, and also working probably with the old bunch, with the stem, we can, let me say, enhance this character of the Monvigliero. In our family, we have a long tradition in making Monvigliero, and for our experience, all cluster enhance this characteristic typical of the vineyard.
So talking about the vinification, so you mentioned you use the whole cluster, you use a whole bunch of grapes to make the wines. So do you use the same technique for all the wines or just Monvigliero?
No, just Monvigliero, and we use also all bunch for the dolcetto. But it's certainly not the technique that you use in the cellar that give the character of the wine. The way of vinification, we try to adapt the way of vinification to each single vineyard. So this is the reason, because of with different vineyard, we work in a different way.
Sometimes I find it quite rare to use whole bunch in Barolo winemaking. Some maybe very it will be too tannic. So Barolo is already very tannic grape. And if you're adding the bunch in the fermentation, will it be like too much tannins, or it's easy to manage?
As you can taste, Monvigliero is one of most elegant Barolo.
Exactly, yeah.
Despite the use of stems, and this is because, again, the character of the vineyard. The Monvigliero is a vineyard that permits us to work in this way for the natural quality of the tannin and for the purity of the bunch, Even my grandfather, old bunch is not something that we introduced in the cellar recently.
So you are the fifth generation of the family, and so as we know, your family have been making Barolo in a very traditional way. So in your generation, do you bring any new idea, new modern technique into the family or the winemaking?
I was not constrained to change completely the style of the wine that my parents made. Just I try to step by step to follow the style, to follow what they were doing, but to understand better and better the vineyard, and to make some very small change, step by step, Certainly some changes were positive, some other maybe we came back again on the roots, but this is the wine, this is what we try to do every day.
So in the past, different producers blend different vineyards for the Barolos to make a more complex, more balanced wine. So since when your family single out some of the single vineyard to bottle individually?
See, until my grandfather, he never produced the Barolo Monvigliero Comm.G.B. He had the vineyard, but he always blended the vineyard in the Barolo Classico or in the Barolo Riserva. And just the generation of my parents, they started to my parents started to do the single vineyard in '82, and it was a big change for the family, of course.
What do you personally think? Like, do you think it's better to do a single vineyard to show the uniqueness of the vineyards, or is it better to blend different vineyards for more complexity?
But I think that both philosophies are good, and both philosophy work well with Nebbiolo because of certainly Nebbiolo is a variety that reflects the terroir. So it's very interesting to produce wine single vineyard and to see how Monvigliero is different than Comm.G.B., how Comm.G.B. is different than Vignariondas. I really like this new way to do Barolo. You know, it's an important, it's another solution to produce Barolo, the blend, of course. Different wine from different plot, different character. We certainly can have a wine with more balance and more complexity every year. And this is what we are still doing in our Barolo Classico and the Barolo Clivi.
Right. So for all the Barolo lovers, so they are always curious on the oak aging. So what type of oak and what is the barrel size for your winemaking?
So for us, the oak, we can say is not so important. So it's not true. It is important because of it's important for the evolution, for the aging of Nebbiolo, but it's not so important for the flavor. So for us, we love to maintain the purity of our Nebbiolo, and usually we don't use new oak for Barolo. We age our Barolo only in big barrel of oak, so we don't use barrique, we don't use tonneau.
How big is it?
The smaller barrel we have in the cellar is a little bit less than 30 hectoliter.
Okay.
And the bigger one is 55 hectoliter.
From Austria?
Is Italian?
Italian.
Because, you know, in Italy we have a long tradition in making big barrel. Nobody, long time ago, nobody was using barrique, but in Tuscany, in Piedmont, all the winemaker. But as we don't have any more forest in Italy,
no more?
No forest. No. So usually we use oak from French.
Okay.
From Allier for the massive essential.
Okay.
For example, for our white wine, we use acacia, and the acacia is coming from Italy, from North.
Okay. The Sauvignon Blanc?
Sauvignon Blanc.
Okay. Yeah. So except your famous Barolos, I know that you also produce a wide range of wines, different kind of wines. Is there any hidden gem that you like a lot and you want to introduce it to our audience?
For example, in Verduna, our specific grape that is something strange. You know, there is a grape that is called Pelaverga Piccolo. That traditionally, historically, it was cultivated only in Verduna. No? So this is something particular, something unique. And this is something that I would like to introduce to everyone, because it's a variety that we saved from the abandon because it was disappearing. It didn't exist anymore. A vineyard with pure Pelaverga in the 1950, 1960. There was no vineyard with pure Pelaverga, but Pelaverga was co-planted with Barbera, with Nebbiolo. And my grandfather remained the unique winemaker who was doing a few bottles of pure Pelaverga Piccolo. But fortunately, from the 70s, my parents took together with the other winemaker of the village, they decided to do a common project. And they saved Pelaverga from the abandon. They selected the best plant, they replanted, they created new vineyard, and now Pelaverga is living a second life.
So audience, stay tuned, and maybe we will bring the Pelaverga to Hong Kong in some days.
Yeah.
So today you bring two wines.
Yeah.
It's not Pelaverga, but it's other grapes. One is Freisa, one is Barbera. So should we start with Freisa? Freisa is it's not that often to see in the market.
No.
So is it a grape from the region?
It is a grape of the region. It is a grape that only 30 years ago, 40 years ago, was cultivated much more than today. And probably is one of the ancestors of Nebbiolo.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, because of the big part of the genome, they are very close genetically. It seems that Freisa is a variety that is older than Nebbiolo. So the University of Torino think that Nebbiolo is coming from Freisa. He's one of the son or daughter of Freisa. I love to say that Nebbiolo is the city cousin, the cousin with a little bit more class, with more finesse, and Freisa is the country cousin. But is a variety that we love. Is a variety that it has a lot of character, and we love to maintain. We still love to cultivate, and we would love to slightly increase the product. Yeah, because it's a very.
Is it getting popular in Italy? More popular?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Nebbiolo is a good moment for Nebbiolo. It's a good, and Nebbiolo is eating a little bit the space of Freisa, because both they love the same terroir, the same soil, the same climate. So and Nebbiolo is a little bit more easy to work in the cellar. It's a little,
okay.
Yeah. So Freisa is a little bit more demanding in town, in attention, and of course Nebbiolo is a little bit more popular.
Yeah.
And but I'm convinced that slowly Freisa will take again his space. For me, there is a nice parallelism between Nebbiolo and Freisa, like Cabernet Franc and Cabernet Sauvignon.
So Nebbiolo is the Cabernet Sauvignon?
Yeah.
And Freisa more like a Cabernet Franc?
Yeah, for what I think. I can have the potential. I can have an extra layer of quality,
Mm.
there is no problem. I can also source the grape from that part of the vineyard.
How are the vines here?
But
Average?
depending on the vintage, because it's a blend.
Right.
Every year we can change depending on the weather.
Mm.
No, this is really the concept of the blend. There is not every year the same.
Okay, not the same plot.
Not the same plot,
Okay.
not the same blend.
Mm.
But we can have vineyard from, let me say, 20 to 40, 50
Okay.
years old.
Mm. And is there any meaning of the name, Aves?
The meaning of Aves in Latin language, it means bird.
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 So the local bird or
No,
in
general
Okay.
bird. General
Okay.
bird, because usually the bird, they love the riper grape, they love the best fruit, you know,
Okay.
to eat.
The bird selection.
Bird selection. Yeah.
So thanks for sharing on the wine. So before the interview, we also collect some questions from our friends from Instagram. So if you're on a desert island, you can only bring one wine. What it will be?
Certainly Barolo.
So your Barolo or Barolo from other producer, and which vintage?
Certainly a Barolo, and it will be a little bit boring to drink just a wine from just a producer.
But you have only one choice.
Only one choice. So let me say for sure Barolo.
From your family or from other producer?
I should say from my family, you know. But for my personal taste, usually I prefer, in general, a wine. I'm not speaking only about Barolo, but it is the same things for a Sangiovese from Tuscany. It is the same for a Burgundy. It is the same for a Pinot Noir from California, from Oregon. You know, I need a wine with a little bit more energy. So many times, not so old. For me, the old wine, they are so delicate sometimes, they are so fragile that and so complex that they don't need food for me.
Right.
When I have food, I prefer something a little bit
Easier, people will.
easier. But I don't want to say easier, because maybe a Barolo with more tannin can be also robust, can be, but with a little bit more fresh, a little bit more energy, a little bit more robust to match the food, you know.
And also got one last question that a lot of people ask me. So how do you want us to prepare the wine? So how long should we open? Like 6 hours or 12 hours, or we can just open and pour? How do you prepare? How should we prepare the wines?
Honestly, I don't love so much the decant in general. I love to open the wine maybe a few hours before. If I can,
like
if
3-4 hours.
See, maybe at lunch for dinner or in the morning, in the morning for lunch.
Okay.
Just to taste the wine. If the wine is showing well, is not so close, you can just cork the bottle.
Okay.
Cork to put the cork in the bottle and wait. Maybe in this case we can choose a decant.
Decant. Okay.
If it's still too compact.
But normally you don't.
Normally, I don't love to decant because for me, decanting will lose something.
Yeah, I agree.
If we have time, we can follow the change of the wine. This is great. This is what we love to do when I have time with wine.
Be careful! Don't drink all the wines before you're going out for the meal. If you want to try,
if you have another bottle, you can open the other one. It's not a big problem.
Thank you, Fabio, for joining us today. I'm sure the audience have a deeper understanding on the wines, on the culture, and the family history and the story behind.
No, thank you to you, Graham, and thank you to all the staff of Watson, because of everything was perfect, and I really enjoyed my day here. And get back, like, comment, and share.
Bye-bye. See you next time.